Yeah, I had a pretty hard childhood. I was born in 1940. It was a critical time anyway. My mother had to work very hard, so we didn't have much to eat. It was pretty tough. And I only met my father the first time when I was 14 years old. But a tough childhood helps you later on in life. You survive easier. So when I came to Australia, then it wasn't so hard. When I was 14 years old, I came to my father's place in Turnitz, and probably wasn't very welcome because I was a stepsister and a stepbrother, and go home, we don't want you. So it was tough times, and I made a couple of friends. And then I played soccer, and I played in the first team very quickly. They used to be goalkeeper. Then, like anyone, like here in Australia, if you're a good player, everyone wants to talk to you. Suddenly I was the brother and the son, and everyone knew me, and I had a very good time. And a friend of mine, he had the crazy idea, he wanted to go to Australia, and his cousin said he's going also. So I thought I had nothing to lose. I said I'd come along for 2 years. We arrived on the boat, and I was standing there looking over the boat. I said, God, I only had 16 pound 10. And while I was talking there to myself, a fellow came along and said, I want to talk to you. I believe you play soccer. I said, if you play for us, we get you a job as a carpenter where you earn 27 pound 10 net, and you get so much if you play soccer. So I had nothing to lose, so I went with them. But anyway, I played a little for them, and in the meantime, then I went up to the snowy mountains and worked up there. I went up in the winter 1960. I had 12 carpenters working. No one could speak English. Everyone spoke a different language. Or we achieved what we had to achieve, on the job. It's interesting, hard work, good money, very, very dangerous, In the whole project was about 138 people got killed. So I thought I might ask for a job on Mount Buller. Ernest Forrest was the manager. And I remember before the winter, he said, I will send you a telegram, you get the job. But I never got the telegram. And one day, with my friend from Ensign, we went skiing and just Berkshire here, and I saw Ernest. He said, what about the job? Oh, come here, I need someone. Was very busy. Can you ski? I said, yes. So the boys lent me goggles and all this, dressed me up, And Ernest took me over to Federation. I nearly died. Lucky was a lot of deep snow. I always wanted to be the Austrian Cowboy. And Al Forrest, he was here. He said, I can organize it. You could just go down to Czech Republic and tell him, I'll ring and you get a horse. The horse followed me like a dog. And I went over and looked this area, and that's how I got to know this area. And they gave me the idea, we should build a lift over there, come in from Horse Hill, come up to the skiing area there, and have a beginner's area there. So people, when you also can go up on the summit, so day visitors don't have to go through the village, because Berkshire was already overcrowded and dangerous. And that sort of was another concept, which started, and I think it only gave me the idea because of the horses. When the lift company asked me to stay here for the summer, after 61 winter, and then I was here 2 years as an operator, and then I became supervisor and manager, and got very much involved in the whole show and building lifts, and had a lot to say, and I enjoyed it very, very much. And I had a bit of reputation for bulldozing and blasting and get stumps out and all that sort of thing. And I think if the Greenies could get hold of me today, I think they still would lock me up. You couldn't do it today. And I always said to the board, I said, let's do it while we can. And even Mr. Kroller now says, I wish, Hans, you would have done more. So many people do appreciate it. Mount Buller, through certain runs, we can ski with less snow than other people do. What we did was the right thing, but I wish you could have done more. Blue Leaf started in 1953, and they used to have a bull run, a rope tower, and Skyline, a rope tower. And that's in later years. Then in 59, a group of skiers got together and formed Orange Lifts. And that's how Orange Leaf started, just in competition to Blue Leaf, so they have better skiing, better service. But if it wouldn't have been for Orange Lifts and Blue Lifts, Australia wouldn't have such a lifting system more than what we have. Because we competed. They put a better, Blue Lift a better lift in, we put a better one in, and it was like a chess game. In '64 was the heaviest snow season we had. The whole lodge was snowed in. We had to dig our way in the morning. Sometimes we couldn't get out. We had to shovel the snow inside in the lounge room to get out to work. We built the first bomber lift from Burke Street up past Koffler's and down Hago, and the lift up to the summit. And we had no experience because it was my idea. I said, we need a lift up on the summit. And they all said, you're crazy. And then when the ice came, the cable got thicker and thicker. We couldn't run it. It wasn't hooked up. And the pulleys, couldn't carry the weight. The axle started bending. The cable came down. And I bought schnapps and brandy, got everyone half drunk, shoveling from tower to tower. The pulleys we carried on our back, straightened out the axles, and then lifted up the cable. And I remember on one tower up there, there was on two towers it was up in the air, one not, and we had a crane to lift it up there. And I said, watch it when it comes. And next, whoosh, it came and hit me under the chin, threw me up in the air like a rabbit. And one of the fellows said, thanks God the bastard is dead, at least we can go home now. And they turned me around, nearly drowned me with the schnapps, and we worked about 3 o'clock. And eventually, we got that lift running. And then in the engine shed, every 20 minutes, we slept in the engine shed. You get up and put the clutch in, run it again, and break off the ice. And at the last tower, what we had collapsed in '64. We didn't have the cable out, the pull wheel, nothing was out. They said to one fellow we had from Poland, we have to hook that back. No. When I looked up and I couldn't see the tower, and when I got up there, I saw the tower bent like a sausage. So I went down and said to the boys, the tower is bent, we have to get it. They said, Hans, you can buy schnapps as much as you want to. We're not going to help you anymore. Because if we get the tower down, we have to get it up again. So next day I went up with a pair of skis. I had 2 meter 15 Fisher Island skis with long thong bindings, a shifting span and a shovel. Shoveled the tower out, unhooked all the guide ropes, and there was a square tower with angle run, and lifted it out of the bolts. It was bolted on, and as it was bent like a sausage, I strapped my skis up, upside down, strapped the skis on, then I turned over the tower and upside down the skis were underneath. And I brought that tower down by myself on the summit. No one could believe it, and I think that was the hardest. And the boys did help me, and we got the tower up, and we got the lift running in '64. And naturally, the board wouldn't admit it then, but if I wouldn't have done that, and they would have claimed insurance, I think Orange Leaf would have had a good chance to go broke. Naturally, when you come from overseas, you want to achieve something, you want money, you don't want to go home empty-handed, because you think everyone laughs at you, so you take a risk, and you, like any new Australian who came out by themselves and want to get somewhere, they worked harder, probably than if they were back home, because, you would achieve something, and it's always a saying, When people say, you're lucky, I said, yes, it's amazing. The harder you work, the luckier you get, And my big luck was, being a carpenter, I wanted to build a little pension in the snow. And that's how I became to build this place here, naturally. To build a place, naturally, you need a good family, you need a good wife behind it. And because to me, I used to run the lifts and building lifts, and then at night, came here, said hello to the guests, and then I had managers, and the first wife and the second wife, they managed and all that sort of thing. So it was hard, but if I wouldn't have built that, like any company, they say you got a job for the rest of your life, but when your time is off, you just get the marching order, and all what I would have to do, pick up the suitcase and go. But having that place, I had somewhere to carry on. So I hope, it will stay in the family, because as you can see, there's a lot of wood carvings and a lot of history involved. And I never had time to get away from the mountains. So that's why I've been now 52 years here, summer and winter. I never thought I'd finish up what I got now. It's amazing. It is a big dream, because I would say the village I was born, my family or I would have been the poorest. We had nothing. If I would compare today, the village, what they have, who they are and what they got, what I would compare what I have, I probably would be the richest. So, but money is not everything. Health and happiness is the most important thing, Oh, you couldn't achieve that all by yourself. You need a good family behind. And naturally, it's good to see the boys growing up. But kids these days, they're different. They got everything, and it's not like, unfortunately, I still think too much in the way I grew up. But you can't help it, And in life, it's very hard. When you haven't been given love as a child, later on in life, when you grow up, it's very hard to give love. And that was unfortunately one of my cases, But the kids are great. They're doing well. And the wife still talks to me. Sometimes yells at me. But still kicking over. And all these years I've been here, probably my health could be better. But I always said sooner or later you have to pay for your sins, but not too bad, 72. Never know how long you go, so long you have fun and we get a bit of snow. I think in Australia, I must say, they appreciate and they show you how much they do appreciate it, what you've done and what you have achieved, and probably being here that long. I think there's no one in Australia who lived on the mountains as long as I have for 52 years, summer and winter. I only left this mountain when I had to go on holiday or on business, otherwise I've always been here. And probably die up here. I can't see anywhere else, You keep on going till you drop. But yeah, to achieve in the ski industry what I did, and that's all was my life. And building this place, which is next year 40 years old, which I'm very proud of it. That's a good achievement. As a single person, what I built on this mountain, I think I've done enough.